Hello everyone, in this video I will explain the updated Noah guide for all classes including Liberator, Celestia, Nyx Pieta, and Morpheus. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to help me grow this YouTube channel. Without further ado, let's get started. In my previous video, I already explained moon management, skill rotation, skills to bring, positioning, and several class-specific resources such as Obsidian Beads for Liberator, Circulation Cards for Celestia, the V-Key system for Nyx Pieta, and the Phantasm Gauge for Morpheus. Therefore, for each class in this video, I will explain several changes compared with my previous guide. Let's start with Liberator. For Liberator, there are not many changes except for several passives like Memory's End, which previously increased Obsidian Darkness skill damage by 15%, now increases it by 20%. White Knight, which previously increased allies damage against bosses and mid-bosses by 10%, has been reduced to 8%. Mirage, a tenacity skill that applies a debuff previously reduced physical defense by 10%, it now reduces both physical and magical defense by 7% for 10 seconds. And then Beginning, which provides special active skill cooldown reduction upon entering New Moon Awakening, has been increased from 20% to 25%. Meanwhile, the Unfamiliar Down passive, which previously increased received critical damage by 6% per stack with a maximum of 3 stacks or 18%, has been reduced to 4% per stack with 3 stacks providing a total of 12%. In terms of gameplay, the main skill that should be prioritized, particularly when using Green Access Scale Special Reset effect, is Silent Abyss. Meanwhile, the Mod E skill can be used as an alternative when primary skills such as Silent Abyss and New Moon Shadows are on cooldown. Celestia. One of the most notable changes to Celestia is that Natal Chart is now applied only to the caster, including its Force Awakening effect. Therefore, regarding my previous guide in which I stated that having a Celestia in the party could potentially disrupt the moon rotation of other Noah classes, you no longer need to be concerned about this issue. Furthermore, my previous guide did not discuss Celestia's Mod E skills in detail. Therefore, I will provide a brief explanation of its skill rotation and the skill that should be brought. First, Mod E Quick Strike Arcana provides 5 stacks of horoscope to targets within its range. Using this skill twice immediately provides the maximum number of stacks for the Aquarius buff. Following the current patch, Aquarius provides a 10% increase in magical and physical attack power, with each stack providing 1%. Master Skill Stage 4 can also be used as an alternative option to assist with dealing damage. However, for overall gameplay, Galaxias and Ancient Ones should remain the main skills used against small bosses, while against large or long bosses, use Zodiac, Serpentarius, and Galaxias. Nyx Pieta. In my opinion, Nyx Pieta has received the most changes, particularly to its skills. Several skill effects have also been combined with or transferred to other skills, including the following. Moonshard, which previously reduced physical and magical defense by 20% for 15 seconds, now reduces physical and magical defense by 15% and decreases all elemental resistances by 150 points for 60 seconds. Verdict, which previously increased strength and bravery skill damage by 10% for 20 seconds, now increases all skill damage by 12% for 60 seconds. Moon's Origin, which is Nyx Pieta's healing skill, has also been changed. It now provides 20% HP and MP recovery per second for every 100,000 combat power. HP recovery every 0.5 seconds is additionally increased by 0.075% with a duration of 5 seconds. The elemental resistance effect from High Tide has also been removed because it has been transferred to Moonshard. White Dwarf, which previously provided 1.3 times all skill cooldown acceleration for 5 seconds, now provides 1.2 times all skill cooldown acceleration for 60 seconds, while the caster receives a 1.3 times effect. Extinction's previous debuff, which increased received damage by 10%, has been transferred to Silver Moon's Calling. As a result, Silver Moon's Calling now provides 20% received damage reduction and 15% action speed for 60 seconds, as well as debuff immunity and debuff removal for 8 seconds. The Serenity passive, which previously provided 20% skill cooldown reduction during full moon, can now be activated without the blessing of Moonlight buff. Benediction, which previously provided 2 times hyperactive and master skill cooldown acceleration, has also been reduced to 1.5 times. Personally, when playing in raid dungeons under the current party system in which it is more effective to bring only one support healer, it will be difficult for Nyx Pieta to deal damage when competing against other DPS classes. I have also tested this myself, therefore, in my opinion, you should focus on performing the role as a support healer, particularly when a party only brings one healer, rather than attempting to act as both a damage dealer and a support healer. Morpheus. Morpheus has also not changed significantly, similar to Liberator, because the patch only adjusted several skills. Eternal Fog, which previously provided 25% magical attack power, now provides 20% physical and magical attack power. The Awakened Will Hazy Delusion passive, which previously provided 1.3 times cooldown acceleration, now provides 1.5 times cooldown acceleration, which is helpful. Mod E Dark Moon Reverse Stream has also received an additional 40% defense ignore effect. Regarding the skill that should be brought, you will of course need to bring Mod E Dark Moon Reverse Stream. Personally, as a Morpheus player, I would apply the double trade to Tower of Silence instead of Mod E Dark Moon Reverse Stream because after several tests, I found it to be reasonably effective option. However, if you are more comfortable with the wider range of Mod E Dark Moon, that is also not a problem. Adjust the setup according to your gameplay. Furthermore, when a support player uses the green exascale reset effect, I personally use Mod E Dark Moon against smaller bosses, whereas I use Tower of Silence against larger bosses. However, I will first consider the situation, particularly in raid bosses such as Doom Aperia. This is because certain bosses have specific mechanics at particular HP bars. When the boss is in groggy or resting state and the party is capable of dealing damage quickly, I will prioritize Tower of Silence instead of Dark Moon. Tower of Silence is a fast casting skill which make it highly suitable for keeping up with other DPS players during short damage dealing windows. However, for 21-3 Queen's Throne Hall, I still prioritize Mod E Dark Moon. Alright, I think that's all my explanation to this updated Noah guide. If you have any question, please leave your comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, turn on notifications so you won't miss any Elsword content to help me grow this YouTube channel. I'm Askavia, signing off. Goodbye!